What is up? What is up, YouTube? What is up, everyone? Hope everyone has had a good week trading so far, and hope everyone has made some money going into the weekend. So, anyway, in today's video, to get started, I got a demand set up on EURCAD, on Euro Canadian dollar. So, first things first, right? We look at the before and after setup, but one thing to take into consideration is demand is low, right? And supply is high. So we're talking about supply and demand here. So when you're looking at demand areas, when you're looking at demand areas, right, you want them at a low point so you can look to be a buyer, right? And when you look at supply areas, right, you want them at high points, right? So you can be a seller. So supply is high, demand is low, but supply we're selling and demand we're buying, right? So another way, I guess, you can look at it, is say there's a price of a pair of shoes you want, and the price is a little high, right? But then the next week you see price go on a sale, right? And the price of the shoes drops, and now the demand for that pair of shoes, the demand is higher, right? But the price is lower. So you see a lot of people buying the pair of shoes, and then the stock runs out, and then the supply is high, right? So now, right, when there's a high demand for supply is high, I mean, low, and then when there's a high demand or a high supply, low demand, right, price is high, right? So you wanted to buy, say, the pair of shoes or the TV, you wanted to buy them at the lowest possible discount price that you could get your deal on, right? That's why when you go to the store or whatever, you shop with coupons or um, you know buy the 2-for-1 deal, or all that jazz. So one thing about demand levels, and we'll talk about that in a second over here on a live chart, but there's supply and demand levels everywhere, right, in the market. And the ones that I look for are the demand zones that have given me a really strong impulse. So write this down or remember this. So the demand zones or supply zones that have given me a really strong impulse from a certain level or a break of structure, right? So if there's no break of structure, there's no trade, right? So we see down here, price got to a certain area and had this huge impulse to the upside, breaking structure at this lowest point of demand, right? So that's before. Now we look at the after picture here, and you can see, right? Huge impulse to the upside, breaking structure, right? And what we waited for right? You can see on the before, price was about like right here, but we waited for price to get down into that lowest point of that last point of selling before, see this last point of selling before this huge break of structure to the upside, right? So price retraced back down into that last point of selling before the huge buy off, right? So this is giving me an indication that this demand zone right here could be pretty volatile, right? This demand zone could have some type of rejection, right? Whether it be, 100 pips, 200 pips, 330 pips, right? It's some type of reaction. So yeah, remember, demand zones, um, demand zones, we're looking for buying, but we want it at the lowest possible, the last bit of selling before that huge break of structure, right? So um, that last, how do I, that last point of selling before the break of structure. So if there's no break of structure, no trade, right? No trade from your demand area and supply area. So this was the before and after. We look over here on the live chart, right? You can see this was the take profit area up here, these highs, and you can see we got out right here, 330 pips. So very, very good trade. So look over here right quick in these demand zones right here, right? So if we're looking at these lows, right? We're looking at these lows right in here, this low, these lows, here, 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 right? And then if we're looking at the previous high, which you could say was right here, that gave us a low, right? If we're looking at this area, now you could be buying, right? You could be playing ping pong and, you could be buying from this level, selling from this level, selling from this level, buying from these levels, right? Buying from these levels, right? You're playing ping pong, right? But you're still kind of guessing in between this supply and demand area. You got supply zone up here and demand zone up here. So as as we know, yes, these are supply and demand zones, but one thing that we can take into consideration is there's no new higher highs or higher lows, right? So from this, right, this isn't higher. And from this low, these aren't really lower. Yes, they closed, but look, price trades right back up into the trading range, back down, right back up into the trading range. We delete some things here. So we notice, like for instance, you see this big move to the upside here, right? But there's no break of structure. There's no break of structure here. So the fact if you're buying at this area down here, understand your target first off, understand your target, and understand that this came back because simply there is no break of structure from your buying point. You're buying here, right? but price didn't make a new higher high. Price didn't make a new higher high, indicating bullishness, right? So this area here broke structure, or didn't break structure, but impulse down from the supply area, right? Impulse down, retracement, and then we broke structure. Well, look where price retested, right? At the bottom of that range, and you could be selling now, right? These are more clear sells at supply areas. At supply areas here than these. Sorry, excuse me, than these. And why is that? Well, I mean, from the retail perspective, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, right? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches for the buying as well, but the buying didn't work. Why is that? Because none of these buying areas had a break of structure. This sell did. This sell rolled over to the downside and broke structure here. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and place a Fibonacci just for fun, just to see something. Huh, a coincidence. So look, from that supply area, right? So from that supply area, we got a break of structure. And then price comes back into that previous area of broken structure, which happens to lie around the 62.72 fib area. So here are some clean entry points from that area, right? So another example I have on this, right? If we go back just a little more, a way to incorporate demand into your trading, supply or demand, right? And some of you guys know smart money, right? And point of interests are pretty much the same, right? I just like to call them supply and demand. I don't know, I think it's a lot easier to learn sometimes, and there's so many different phrases for everything in this community. So whatever can make it easier and simpler for me or for you, that's what my goal is. So let me check. Okay, so one quick example here of demand, right? So we see price make this down move right here and a little consolidation on the 4-hour time frame here, right? Well, from this area here, which projected off of this demand zone to the left here, we see a heavy impulse to the upside, right? So rejection, impulse to the upside, right? Rejection, impulse to the upside. And price doesn't come back to that low. It doesn't retrace back to that low. But what happens next, right? We get a little retracement here and another break of structure. So while we have minor highs being broke here and a major high being broke here, right? Retracement, break of structure, correction, and continuation. So from this area of broken structure here, right, we missed, price didn't come back to this one. So from this one here, right, this break of structure, impulse, correction. If you're in the mentorship chat, if you're in the mentorship group, I sent out a picture of impulse and corrections the other day. You can study that just to get a refresher on your memory. But you see these demand zone right here, strong break of structure to the upside, correct? So strong break of structure to the upside. A now we have a bullish bias, right? So when price comes back into our demand zone right here, right? What are we doing? Are we selling? No, we only have one option, and that's for buying, right? Buying here, and another break of structure leads us to buying here, right? 119 pips, not bad. But yeah, guys, so that's how you can incorporate using demand levels in your trading. Supply and demands can take you know, it can take a little studying and back testing to train your eyes to understand it properly. But if you guys liked the video, got any value, give me a comment down below what you learned. Hit that like button and give me a subscribe to the channel to support the channel. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, let's go and enjoy our weekends. Study. We come back next week and destroy these markets. So until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.